just whenever I ask, please help me respond, and Ola to be seconded that you guys can hear me, so that
Okay.
I don't. Thank you very much. So I don't keep asking and asking and nobody's answering. All right, let me share my screen. So today we're going to be implementing a big data solution. First topic under module 4. It's from page 401 to 424 of your textbook. But I'm not going to be following textbook Nook and Cranny. I'm not going to be following it back to back, like word for word. I'm going to be doing using the slide on data science school. That's what I'm going to be using. But you can go back to your textbook to read into details about it. But then everything I'm going to be talking about is the slide is like a summary. So it's from page 401 to 424 of your textbook. So you can go back and check it out. But then it's like I'm summarizing everything for you based on the slides I'm going to be showing you. So that's where it's going to be. So let me share my screen. Okay. So can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Thank you. Um, okay. Okay. So today we're going to be doing implementing a big data solution. Okay. So we're going to be implementing a big data solution under module 4. And okay, so today we'll be able to like envision the process you need to go through before implementing a big data solution. So you want to implement a big data solution for a company, you've learned some skills over time. For example, you know how to use R to a great extent, maybe not great extent, but to an extent, you still learn how to use R properly, definitely. But then before just learning how to use R on and on and on, or learning how to perform data analysis, there are some things that you have to know if you are going to be working with a company or you are going to be implementing a big data solution for a business. So there are some things you need to be aware of, and that's what we're going to be looking at today. So today you are going to be able to understand the envisioning process you need to go through before implementing a big data solution. How you can follow a prioritization process for big data use cases. So you have different big data use cases, and you want to see which is the best for you to do for the company at that particular point in time. So there are a lot of things you can do for a company that wants a big data solution, right? They can have several problems, but you need to know what problem at that particular point in time is of most importance and can be most implemented and is of good business value to the company or to the organization, first of all, before all of the other use cases come along. So these are called use cases, the problems and solutions. So you want to know which of these problems need to be tackled first, or which should be tackled, which is more feasible to tackle, and which of them will bring more business value to the table, even while it's more feasible to tackle. So that is prioritization process. And I also explain the steps to perform a solution engineering process that can be used to implement big data solution. So you have a big data solution, but you want to perform a big data solution, or yes, perform a big data solution for a company, but then you have to know the steps to be able to take to create this process. So creating the big data solution, that process is called a solution engineering process, and it takes a lot of steps. So to be able to implement a big data solution in a company, I said perform, sorry, implement, yeah, implementing the solution. So to be able to implement a big data solution in a company, you need to go through some processes, and these processes are encompassed into the worded statements: solution engineering process. So solution engineering process are the processes that you would take when you want to implement a big data solution. Then explain some common challenges to implement big data solutions. So what are the common challenges that people face, or that big data scientists face, or companies face, or anybody faces while they're trying to implement a big data solution? What are the challenges that are faced by all of these different sets of people? So that is the final one, and those are the kind of things we'll be learning today. So those are today's objectives. So firstly, the big data envisioning process. Okay, so Normally, why do you do big data analytics? Okay, you do big data analytics because you want to perform business transformation. You're trying to transform your business, and transforming your business comes in two phases. It could be either that you want to optimize an existing process. Maybe there's a process that you have already, and you want to make use of this process maximally. You want to obtain maximum returns from the process. That is optimizing your process. So performing business transformation can be in two ways. It might be either that you want to optimize a process that you already have already, sorry for the tautology, a process that you have already, okay, or you want to uncover new monetization opportunities. So new opportunities that will help you derive more revenue or bring more revenue to your business or to the business you are performing a big data solution for. Those are the two phases. So business transformation could be either optimizing existing processes or uncovering new monetization processes. So those are the two huge branches of business transformation. So you should put that in mind when you're implementing a big data solution. Okay. So generally, well, we already know what big data analytics is, right? And big data analytics is like you're collaborating with business stakeholders. So you are a data scientist and you are collaborating with business stakeholders. I want to ensure that whatever you are developing or what you are working on is not just relevant to business. Like it's not something that they're just like, oh wow, we love the visuals you created, we love the insights you gave us, they are amazing, they are nice visuals on point, you're a good data scientist. That doesn't define your being good as a data scientist until it can give them something that they can implement in their company to be able to transform their business or aid strategy making or increase revenue. So a big data analytics is not just taking the data, transforming it, and bringing out visuals and insights from it. Can these insights be used to drive business productivity? Can you use these things to aid decision making? These solutions that you've brought, this analysis that you have given them, these reports that you've shared to them. So that is what big data analytics is about. So there are two major steps big data in big data solutions. The first is the big data envisioning process, which we are going into now, and the second one is the big data solution engineering. That is when you're going to actually implement the big data solutions. So the big data envisioning process, as the name implies, is like you are creating a picture of you're trying to check, you are checking, you are researching, and then you're trying to create a picture of what you're trying to create. Now the big data engineering, big data engineering now? Big data solution engineering is the phase where you actually perform these solutions for the company or implement these solutions for the company. So that is big data solution engineering. So now to the big data envisioning process. The envisioning process defines how big data can power key business initiatives and where and how big data and advanced analytics can be developed to transform a business. Business organizations use big data to power their key business initiatives. So their key business initiatives are like what is the reason this business was brought up in the first place? What are our key values? What are the things we're trying to achieve? Those are the key business initiatives. So it helps to power it defines how big data can power your key business initiatives. So you have some key business initiatives, but you're trying to create something that can aid these key business initiatives. Okay, you want to drive value across the organization, but then you are driving value, but you want to implement big data solutions to be able to drive better value or increase revenue across your organization. So that is what the big data envisioning process will help you to check how you can do this and how you can employ big data analytics or advanced analytics to transform that particular business. So key business initiatives empowered by big data. Uncover new revenue opportunities to impact marketing and sales. So you want to be able to get new revenue opportunities that will help you impact marketing the organization. So they've been marketing and doing sales over a period of time, but you want to see if there are new opportunities that can help to impact marketing, that can help to make marketing reach out to more people or make sales, have higher level of sales that will drive more profits to the organization. That is one. Then to research and reduce costs. To research and reduce costs in various divisions of business. So you want to see a way you can maximize costs, or okay. So you want to see a way you can maximize costs, so that you can use the cost of, say, production to derive more value. So you don't want to just be putting so much money into manufacturing and production, and then the company is not gaining anything at the end of the day. So it helps you to reduce costs across various divisions of business: production, manufacturing, inventory, transportation, and so on. Then another thing is help you mitigate risk across all operational and financial aspects of organization's value chain. So it helps you to reduce risk. So if you have with big data envisioning process, you can be able to know that, okay, this particular part of the business is bringing more risks, or is making, how will I put it now, or maybe making the business faulty, or bringing losses to the organization, or things like that in the operation. So mitigating risk is you are making something less severe. So definitely there will be risks in an organization. You will definitely have financial risks and stuff like that. But then mitigating risks is making it less severe, or making it less serious. So that is mitigating risk. And big data envisioning can help you do that. It can help you see ways to be able to reduce these risks across these different aspects in the organization's value chain. So another thing big data envisioning will help you do is it helps you check to see if you can gather new customers, products, and operational insights. And this will in turn help you to help the business to have a hedge over competitors, and even bring more profits to the table. So these are the several ways business organizations can use big data to empower their key business initiatives. And then this is why we need to envision our big data, because we want to see that, okay, what are the aspects of this company, what aspects of this company actually need a big data initiative or a big data solution. And then these are some of the aspects of a company or a business that a big data solution could be needed in. So that is that about how you can empower key business initiatives with big data solutions. I will ask questions when I'm done with the particular part, so don't worry. If you have questions, you can jot them down or keep them for me. So the envisioning process helps business and IT stakeholders to understand the possibilities that are open with respect to new big data sources and new big data technologies. So in a company, there are two key people that the big data team, or will I say the facilitating team, would have to relate with. They are the business and the IT stakeholders. Okay, and the IT stakeholders, why? You are relating with the IT stakeholders because they are the ones that have access to the data. They are the ones that can tell you this is where the data is located. This is how you can get the data. This is the way you can explore the data. This is the way you can extract the information you need. That is what the IT stakeholders is very useful for in as regards deriving a big data solution or implementing a big data solution. While for the business, if you relate to the IT guys and you don't relate to the business, you are on a fault. If you relate to the business and you don't relate to the IT guys, how will you get the data? So the two work hand in hand, okay? You have to be able to relate with IT and business at the same time. So business are the ones that will tell you, oh, okay, these reports that you presented, okay, we actually want them like this because this is the way it's going to be relevant to us. If you go ahead and just start presenting, making reports and dashboards and all, the business might not be interested because it is not of relevance to them. So you have to create something that is of relevance to the several business units in the organization you are working for. So as much as you need the IT to give you where you need the data from, or to tell you where you're going to get data from, you also need the business to be able to tell you their reporting needs. You cannot just get data and perform visualizations on it without knowing what the business wants. So these two aspects, these two people are very important in the envisioning process. And then they help you to open your mind to see the big data opportunities that you can implement in the organization, because they tell you the different things that are on ground and the different things that you need. So that is what these two people do, these two stakeholders do. So with regards to that, this is an overview of the envisioning process. We have research, analyze, brainstorm, prioritize, and document. So research. So we'll still go into this in details. Okay, yes, we'll still go into this in details. So just on the surface, research is you're trying to identify key business initiatives and objectives. So you're trying to understand the key business initiatives of that company. What are the things that drive them in the company? What are the things they are looking at to achieving in the company? You don't just go ahead and create big data solutions for a company. You have to know what the company wants, or what the company is working on at that particular point in time, or in their business line or something. You have to know what is the company's priority. You have to know what direction the company is going to. You have to know what will help them in improving their organization. A business initiative could also be an organization's focus or their vision, or what their aim is. So to create a big data solution for a company, you have to know what the organization's priority is. You cannot just go ahead and create a big data solution just because it looks fanciful to you, or because you read it somewhere, or you've seen it somewhere, you've studied over time that, oh, okay, these things are very important to the company. No, you have to still understand their priority. That is what research is about. So research can be different things, and then we're going to go into it in the next slide. So that is research. Then analyze. Analyze is you're preparing sample data and you're testing out insights. So you get a sample data of what the company does, a sample data maybe from the IT, and check out the small things you can easily check or get from the data. What are the insights? What are the things you can quickly deduce from the data? That is analyzing. So analyzing is not the, so to say, bringing a solution. Analyzing doesn't necessarily give you a solution at that particular point in time, but it gives you an overview of the kind of things, of the kind of data they have in the company. You can derive some insights from the kind of data they have from the company in the analyze process. And this analyze process is still under the envisioning process, so you are not deriving a solution yet. You're still envisioning, but while envisioning, you have to be able to understand the kind of data that the company has. So that is analyzing. And then there's the brainstorming part. The brainstorming is you are checking out the potential of big data against business initiatives. So in your mind, you're like, okay, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this for this company. But then this is their priority. Does what I want to do and their priority, does it go hand in hand? Can I implement this for them and they would appreciate it? So that is brainstorming. You are sitting down to try to understand and see how your data solution can come into their key business initiatives. Or if it cannot, are there other big data solutions you have that you feel can go into their key business initiatives or flow with their key business initiatives? That is brainstorming. That is brainstorming. So research, analyze, brainstorm. Then another thing is prioritize. So prioritize is you're prioritizing big data use cases or big data opportunities. So you will have different maybe you've brainstormed and you've gotten the different solutions, the different data solutions that will go with their key business initiatives. So you now want to be able to prioritize. You want to be able to see that, okay, this is the one that is most important at this particular point in time for this business. This is the one that I'm going to implement that they will appreciate more at this particular point in time before I implement the rest. That is prioritizing key business initiatives. And identifying impediments. Identifying impediments is you're trying to check what are your hindrances in doing this, in performing this big data solution. What are the things that would stop this big data solution from coming into play? So you're trying to identify those things. So that is in the prioritize phase. And then we have the last phase, which is the document phase. So the documenting phase is you are capturing analytics opportunities. So all of the things that you've thought about, that you brainstormed on, you are writing them down. You are putting them into writing so that you can refer back to them later. Or probably when business asks for it, you can show them that, okay, this was what I envisioned and this is what I documented. Documentation is very important in data analytics because you can be called upon to defend something, and then your documentation could just be your help. So documenting, you're capturing analytics opportunities, all the things that you've brainstormed on, and then you're also recommending new steps. So the new things to do, the new steps to take now, you're now recommending them. So these are the five phases, or the five processes in phases of the envisioning process. So this is an overview, and then we're going to go into it in details now. So research and interview. Research and interview to understand the target business initiatives. So prior to the envisioning process, the business and IT teams need to identify the key problem scenario and the targeted business opportunity, challenge, or initiative. And for example, you are trying to for example, now say you're trying to check customer satisfaction levels. You want to enhance customer satisfaction levels. Probably they have issues with satisfying their customers. So one thing you can do in these places, you're trying to, or one thing you can try to do in this place in your research phase is you want to see services and product problem areas. So you want to see the places that you're having issues with the customers, and you want to see where you lack maybe good communication with the customers and things like that. That is what you do in the research phase. Or for example, in a hospital, you are trying to see if you're trying to improve hospital readmissions. That is, you're trying to improve the care given to patients in the hospital. You want to see if you can use if you can predict what patients want, if you can predict what patients want based on their lifestyle. So maybe you've been tracking a patient's lifestyle for a period of time. You can predict that, okay, these patients would likely have this particular health challenge and things like that. So that could be a problem you are trying to solve. You don't want to always have to do all series of tests before you come up with a solution for a patient. You want to be able to see if you can use the lifestyle of the patient or the recorded visits. Probably the patient has come to visit for some time. You want to see if you can use to predict what the customer would need to be tested for in the future. So these are some problem scenarios that you might want to check, and these are the kind of things that you check in the research phase. So at this particular point, when you have the problem and you're trying to check for what you can do or how you can go about using a big data solution to drive these business problems, or to create these business opportunities from the challenges you are facing, you have to, this is where you come into the facilitation team, or this is where the facilitation team is developed. So the facilitation team consists of three major people. Okay, the facilitation team, they are the ones that will perform this research and see the things that they can do, or see the activities they can perform to make sure that they are getting enough information to bring the best big data solution to the table. So the team is called the facilitation team. And this facilitation team consists of a lead facilitator, a subject matter expert, and a data scientist or analyst. And this team, let me quickly say what the lead facilitator does. So the lead facilitator leads the process. So it's the one that drives all the brainstorming and the sitting down to communicate with everyone. What are we doing now? What is the next step to take? And all of that. So he's the lead facilitator. He leads the process, the envisioning process. He leads the process. So the subject matter expert, on the other hand, he has widespread experience in the industry. So he has a good knowledge of businesses, or he has a good knowledge of the business in question. So for example, you are dealing with the agricultural sector. You either take a subject matter expert that has an experience in the agriculture sector, or has experience over a wide range of industries. So that is the subject matter expert. And then we also have a data scientist or analyst. The data scientist or analyst is the one that will determine the appropriate data sources or the best analytical modeling techniques to be used for the particular exercise. So that's what the data scientist or analyst does. So what does the team do? They conduct interviews to take important points, initiatives, and issues. So let me see my next slide. Okay, so now this is what they do. They I want to see if this is according to the way I want it. Capture, implementation, risk, prioritizing big data use cases. Okay, so it's kind of numbered in the textbook. So I wanted to see what is this? Prioritizing big data use cases, capture implementation risks, brainstorm and prioritize, prepare data and conduct exercises, research and interview. Okay, so in the research and interview phase, it's not very similar to textbook because I know what's in textbook, but then it still goes, so I'll just flow along. So for the research and interview phase, there are some things that this facilitation team does. Okay, they conduct interviews, and then they please give me a minute. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so what does the team do? What does facilitation team do in this phase? So they conduct interviews. So in the interview, what do? They capture the business objectives or goals. Okay, can you hear me, please? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what does the team do? They conduct interviews to capture the business objectives or goals. So from their interviews, they are trying to capture the business objective or goals. So they could interview the business people or the business stakeholders within the organization. And the business stakeholders, they are the people that know about the business. They are like the managers, the executives, and stuff like that. So those are people like that. So those are the business stakeholders. So they capture the business objective or goals from them. They also understand how success should be measured. So a company will definitely have how they measure success. So do they measure success when they reach a particular amount of profits in a particular month? Is that the way they measure success? So those are like their key metrics or their KPIs, their key performance indicators. So those are the kind of ways you can, those are the kind of things you should check when you are interviewing the business stakeholders or when you're performing interviews generally. Another thing they also check is they're trying to review the organization's previous experience in addressing this initiative. So maybe previously the organization have actually taken steps, or the organization has actually taken steps in, I want to see, okay. So maybe previously the organization has actually taken steps to bring a solution to the table, bring a solution on this particular maybe problem to the table. But then the steps they took did not work out. Okay, so something you have to check is, have they taken these steps before? And if they have taken these steps before, what are the lessons you need to learn from these steps? Are there things you can learn from these things you've done in the past that could help you now? So those are the type of things you ask during your interview process, or these are the kind of things the facilitation team asks during the interview process. So another thing they do interviews about is to they do interviews with business users, and they spend a lot of time with the business users to be able to know what they want in a report or dashboard. As I was saying at the beginning, I was like, you create a report or dashboard, and then after creating the report or dashboard, the business people tell you, this is not what we asked you. we don't need this thing. What we need is this. And then you would have just wasted so much effort in gathering so much data and different things from different places. And then you come to the business people and they're telling you this is not what they want in the report. So a reason for conducting an interview with business people, or for spending time with business people, is to be able to understand what they want in their reports or dashboards. As much as you want to deliver the best big data solutions to them, you should still be able to understand what they want. So that is one thing. Another thing is you should be able to know if they use additional data to conduct their analysis. So do they get data from other sources to conduct their analysis? Another thing you should be able to know is, what are the steps they take when they want to resolve a problem? So what do they do? Do they have to meet with this person first and then meet with this person after, before they find the solution to the problem? What are the things they do when they are finding a solution to a problem in their company? Also, you want to see the decisions they make based on analysis. So the analysis that they've conducted in the past, what are the decisions they've made based on this analysis, and so on and so forth. So those are the things you want to check through in your analysis. So in your interviews rather. So that is what the interview process is about. So that is for the first process. And then the second process is analyze. So analyze is what they call prepare data and conduct exercises here. So this is the part where you acquire and analyze your data. Okay, that is what is called in textbook, but here it is prepare data and conduct exercises, which is still very similar, which is still the same thing. So prepare data and develop client-specific analytics. So after identifying the target business initiative, the facilitation team collaborates with the IT team to identify and acquire a relevant sample set of data. And that's what I was telling you when I was summarizing those 5 steps to you. I was telling you that you associate, the facilitation team now associates with the collaborates with the IT team, and they tell them that, okay, please give us a sample of the data. We want to be able to see what we can derive or what we can deduce from this data sample. So the data scientists or the data analysts now take in this data, and then they analyze this data using advanced analytics and data visualizations and statistical software to be able to see what insights they can derive from the data. So and like I told you, note that this is not where you solve the actual business problem. So you're not solving the business problem here, okay? You're just trying to see what you might be able to do when you have more detailed data. So it's like taking a sample from a population and then getting insights based on that sample and then projecting it into the population. So you're trying to see the solutions you can get from this sample data that you've gotten. And you want to see what you will now do when you have more detailed data. So it helps you envision the realm of what is possible. It helps you see that, okay, I think this is going to be possible when I get hold of their huge volume of data. So that is what this prepare data and analyze phase helps you do. Then note that you can also get data from external sources. So you can get data from external sources. For example, there's this platform, www.data.gov. So it's an open data platform, and then it has data about a wide range of it has data about a wide range of different aspects of different industries. So there are different industry data or different industry use cases of data in www.data.gov. So you can go to www.data.gov too and say, okay, I'm dealing with the agriculture sector, and then I'm looking for a data that has to do with plants. So you can check what the data that has to do with plants looks like. You can also check what kind of analysis have been performed on this kind of data. And then you can also use that to envision the realm of what is possible with the data that you are dealing with. And the data you are dealing with could probably be from the same plant sector. So you could also get data from external sources to be able to envision what is possible. So that is another thing that you can do. That is just a note, by the way. Then conduct envisioning exercises to understand what is possible. Yes, I said that before. you're trying to start thinking about what is possible to do with access to more detailed data as well as new sources of data. So that is what you do in the acquire and analyze data phase, which is also the prepare data and conduct exercises phase as shown here. So that is that about that analyze phase. Then we also have the brainstorm and prioritize phase. Okay, so did they merge this together? Because I know we have another brainstorm. Okay, so they actually merged. Okay, so in the textbook, we have this separately. We have brainstorm separately and we have prioritization separately. So they merged the two of them together, the step 3 and step 4 together here. So brainstorm phase, you are trying to bring all of your decisions together. So you've envisioned the realm of what is possible, you've done all of this, and then you now want to leverage big data and operational data coupled with advanced and predictive analysis to power the targeted business initiative. So here, all of this grammar just means that you are trying to see how well you can use big data. Leveraging big data is like you're trying to maximize big data. You're trying to see how well you can use big data to be able to drive whatever it is that is their targeted business initiative. So what is the thing they most value in their organization? So you're now trying to brainstorm and see that, okay, this is their targeted business initiative, this thing that they really want in their organization. How can I maximize the use of big data or the big data solution I want to implement? How can I maximize this solution to be able to create value for this organization? That is where the brainstorming part comes in. So here, they reveal the client-specific envisioning exercise to help business visualize what is possible. So you are checking the all of the interviews you've conducted, everything you've done over time, you're trying to go through them, you're trying to review all of the interviews you've conducted, and then you're trying to see the possibilities of what you can achieve from the information you've gotten now from these business people. So you've gotten some information from these business people. So you're trying to brainstorm to see that, okay, what are the things we can now do? What are the new things we can create that can drive monetization opportunities, that can bring more value to the company? So that is what you do in the brainstorming phase. Also, like I said, you can also use examples from other industries too to fuel your creative thought process. So you are trying to think about you're trying to be creative. Okay, you're trying to check what big data solutions will be good for deriving meaningful insights to this organization. You can use examples from other industries. You can check other industries. You can see what they are doing in other industries, and you can use this to be able to bring maximum value with your big data solution. So that is about the brainstorming process. Then there are some questions you might want to ask yourself. You can ask yourself that, okay, for example, now one of the questions you can ask yourself in the brainstorming process, or that the facilitation team would ask themselves, is, okay, now if I now say, okay, I want to get new insights into customer shopping. Okay, I've gotten new insights and all. What will this now do to the business? How will it help the business? Okay, I've analyzed the data, I've visualized the data, now I've seen new insights. How can these new insights that I have gotten help the business I'm trying to help? How can these new insights that I've derived help the business? So that is one thing that the brainstorming phase would help you to check. You cannot just get new insights from big data and then drop it on the surface. No, you have to be able to see how you can derive meaningful solutions from these insights that you've gotten. So that is what you do in the brainstorming process. That's what the facilitation team does in the brainstorming process, brainstorming step. So the step 4, which is the prioritization process, the facilitation team judges each use case prepared before. So you've checked all of these things. You've seen the different solutions you can implement for this company. You've seen that I can implement A, B, C, D. So now you cannot implement all A, B, C, D at the same time. So which of these A, B, C, D is most important to the organization at the moment? What is going to be of most priority to them? And then that the IT team and the business team would be able to work with me on this. That is what you're going to check in the prioritization process. And then we're going to go into details of the prioritization process soon. So let's just stop there on prioritize. And then the final step, like I said, is documentation. So documentation is you're capturing implementation risks. You're capturing business value drivers. You're capturing what you've been able to derive over time from all of your brainstorming and all of your analyzing data and so on and so forth. You're conducting interviews and so on. You are documenting everything. And what are things you document? You document key interview findings as regarded as targeted as related to targeted business initiative. Like I said, business initiative, that is the goal of a company, the vision of a company, that is the targeted business initiative. So you are checking what you found from your interview, from your interviews. You are checking them as related to this business initiative. You always have to have this business initiative in mind, because creating a solution for a company that you're not targeting the business initiative is like a waste of time, because they tell you that this will not help us. So please, we don't want your solution. So that is one of the things you're documenting. And that thing you're documenting is analytic use cases that came out of the envisioning process. So what are the things that you've seen that you can implement for the business? So those are the analytic use cases they are going to document. You're also going to document the prioritization matrix result. So the prioritization matrix is what we are going to explain soon. You've prioritized your use cases, okay? Use cases are the different analytic solutions. Like I said, use cases are the different analytic solutions. So which of these use cases are most important, which are less important? That is what is involved in this prioritization matrix, which I'm going to explain in detail. Then you're recommending new steps. So now, what are the new steps we take based on all of these things that we've documented? So that is the capturing phase or the documenting phase. Okay, so before I move on, any question? So let me ask questions. I've been talking since morning. I just talked about the 5 different overview of the envisioning process. I just finished explaining, just to come again. So any questions? Any questions? If there are no questions, I'd like you to just tell me to go on. And let me know that you understand all I've been saying, if there are no questions.
I understand. Just go on, ma.
Okay. Another person to confirm that should go on, that you understand.
Please, you can go ahead, ma.
Okay.
I understand.
All right. Okay. So oh wait, let me ask this. What I'm saying or what I just explained, does it make any sense to anybody? Like what I've explained so far?
Yes, ma.
Okay. All right.
Yes,
Thank you.
does.
Okay. Thanks. So let me continue. So sorry, we're going to do a lot of talking today, but then that's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to understand how to implement a big data solution. So let's move on. So prioritizing big data use cases. Okay, so we have something called the prioritization matrix, and this is a tool that is used for driving business and IT collaboration and agreement around identifying the right initial use cases for the big data journey. So you have different use cases, you have different things you're trying to find solutions to. Okay, you have this, and this, but then you have to know that, okay, which is better to be implemented, and even if it's best to be implemented, which will bring the maximum business value to the organization. That is what the prioritization matrix helps you to do. Okay, so the prioritization matrix is based on 2 things. It is a 2 by 2 grid, right? You would see the diagram now, and then it's based on 2 things. It is based on the business value 1 and the feasibility of implementation 2. So those are the 2 things, points it is based on. So it is based on the business value and the feasibility of implementation. The feasibility of implementation on the x-axis, while the business value on the y-axis. And I'll be showing us that now in a bit. So prioritization matrix process. It starts by documenting each use case, identifying the brainstorming and application stages. So all the use cases you identified, that is, you check that, okay, we can actually do this for this company because this, and this, that's the use case, okay? So you've identified these use cases and you want to see which of these use cases you should focus on. You should focus on first before all of the others. So that is the process, that is the prioritization matrix process. So the business stakeholders are responsible for relative positioning of each business case on the business value axis. So we have the business value axis, which is like the y-axis, and then it is the business stakeholders that are responsible for positioning the business case on the business value axis, while the IT stakeholders are responsible for positioning each business case on the implementation feasibility axis, which is the x-axis. So we have the y-axis, business value axis. The business people are responsible for positioning it on the y-axis, while we have the x-axis, which is the implementation feasibility axis. As the name implies, how feasible is it to implement this use case? So it is the IT people that place it there. Business value, how much of value will we derive from this use case as regards to business or as regards to our business initiative? So those are the two axes we have. So let's see what it looks like. So here it is. This is the prioritization matrix. So we have this business value and we have this implementation feasibility. So this is from low to high, okay? And implementation feasibility is from low to high also. So you have something here. This means that you divide, okay, this is divided into 4 places. So we have here low business value, low implementation feasibility, low business value, high implementation feasibility, high business value, high implementation feasibility, and then high business value, low implementation feasibility. So these are the 4 boxes that we have. So this is just in the middle. This A is in the middle. It's just at the center, not high, not low, not whatever. Why this is low implementation feasibility and high business value. This is high business value, high implementation feasibility, which means that this is the best use case at this particular point in time. You can implementing it. Oh God, implementing it is very feasible, and then it will also bring good business value to the table. So this is a very suitable use case for you to start with. So this is the best to start with at this particular point in time, because you can easily implement it and it also has a high business value. Then we have this, which is the high implementation feasibility and low business value. So why would something have a high implementation feasibility? You can easily implement it, right? But then the business value is low. It doesn't make any sense. So what is usually done is these use cases are given to the business value, and then the business value places these use cases as the case may be. Now, the implementation feasibility, the IT is also given to the IT guys, and they also place it. So whichever falls into this particular box is should be the most prioritized. So the use cases that fall into this box, after the IT, say the IT puts something here and the business value puts the same thing here, then you know that that use case is best to be implemented at that particular point in time. So that's about the prioritization matrix process. So okay, to be more specific, these are the following decisions that can be made from the previous figure. Why is use case B more or less valuable than use case A? Which business drivers or variables can make use case B more or less valuable than use case A? So you can just get discussions from it. Okay, why do you say business B is more valuable, or why is it less valuable? Okay, what can we do to make business B more valuable than business A? So maybe business B was here before. Okay, maybe business B was use case B was here before, rather. Maybe it had low implementation feasibility and high business value. So how can we make B come here to have high implementation feasibility? Those are the kind of discussions that can arise from here. Or maybe B was here before. What can you do to make B that has a high implementation feasibility have a higher business value? So those are the kind of discussions that can be ensued from the previous figure. So all of these things to putting all of this, you should not just say, okay, IT wants something, IT put a use case here, business value put a use case here, and be like, okay, it's the best thing to implement, let's just go ahead. No, you have to ask them, IT, why did you put this here? Okay, and business, why did you put this here? What are your reasons? So from there, you can easily say, oh, okay, I think IT, you might be wrong by putting this here. I think it should be here, meaning that we cannot implement that use case anymore. So this will drive discussions, but discussions that wouldn't cause any chaos, discussions that will be very reasonable and can make you come into a consensus, or can make business and IT come into a consensus, because most of the time, IT and business always have clashes. IT will tell you that business, what you want now, we do not have the data for it. Or business will tell them that IT, give us this thing. Yes, the same thing I just said, IT, give us this thing, but then IT doesn't have the capability to be able to give them what they want. So there is always clash between business and IT. And then sometimes IT will ask business what they want. Business will tell them something, IT does it, and then business comes back and say, no, this is not what they mean. When they tell you to do this thing, this is actually what they mean. So there's usually clashes between IT and business, and that is why this prioritization matrix is very, very important. It helps business and IT come into an agreement based on discussions, and discussions that are very feasible, discussions that are on a diagram, are well represented on a diagram that can be easily referred back to. So that's about prioritization matrix. So prioritization matrix traps. So we have different prioritization matrix traps, okay? Let me see if there's the diagram here. Okay, the diagram is not here. Okay, so let me come back here. So we have, let me just read it out, then come back to tell us where they are. So to use the prioritization matrix, you need to understand these potential discussion traps. So we have the zone of mismanaged expectations, okay? So mismanaged expectations is having huge business value. Okay, please give me a minute. I need to take water. Give me a minute. Just you can also take water break if you want. I need to quickly take water. I'll be back. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So please, I need to request your permission. Give me 10 minutes. I need to fix something. So I will come back in 10 minutes. So this is 11:03, 11:13. You can also go and do whatever you like to do. But then 11:13 I would start. 11:13 on the dot. So if you're not here by 11:13, I'm starting, please. Thank you.
Welcome, ma'am.
You're welcome, ma'am.
You're welcome, ma'am. So over 4.
Hi, I'm back. I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. 1 minute late.
Yes, ma'am.
I was actually here. I was actually here. Sorry, but I did not just talk on time. Sorry. Okay, so it's good that everyone is back. You people respected the time. Thank you very much for doing that. Okay, so let's move to back to here. All right. So for prioritization matrix traps, we have three different parts of the prioritization matrix that we shouldn't consider use cases that are in these parts of the matrix. Okay, and those are three parts, which is here, here, and here. This is the one that should be better considered or most considered or prioritized. These are the use cases that fall into here, which means that you can implement them easily and then they will give you the maximum business value that you want. So zone of mismanaged expectations. It's those three ones that we are naming here. Okay, so it's those three ones we are naming here. Zone of mismanaged expectations, having huge business value. These use cases are the least probable of executing successfully. So they don't, they have, how will I put it now? They have a high business value, okay, but then you cannot execute them successfully. Their implementation feasibility is low. That is the zone of mismanaged expectations. So an example of this is, let me go back to that place. High business value and low probability of executing successfully. So high business value, cool, but low probability of executing successfully. So this area. So this is mismanaged expectations. So you want to bring a solution that will just wow everybody. That business will be like, wow, so you can solve this. It's going to bring high business value when you actually solve it. But can it actually be solved? No. So that's what makes it fall here. So you are mismanaging expectations. Your expectations are mismanaged. You are overhyping your expectations. And then an example of this, as said in textbook, which is really funny, is solving world hunger. Like, if someone hears we are going to solve world hunger today, they are like, wow, so much business value, right? Like it's crazy, it's amazing. You're solving business value, good stuff. But then can you actually implement this? No. So that is what falls into this particular part. So then we also have the zone of user disillusionment. With little business value, even if these cases are easy to execute, the business and IT personnel should avoid them. So user disillusionment, that is little business value but easy to implement. So here, easy to implement here, but little business value. So it is here. So this is user disillusionment. Um, for example, now IT team, they've developed new skills. Like they now have skills to be able to bring this kind of data, harness this kind of data, make you use this kind of data and all of that. They develop new skills and they are so excited about it. So they want to show off. But then it's not going to bring any business value to the table. So that is total wastage of time and energy. So this is user disillusionment, zone of user disillusionment, and this zone should be avoided. Lastly, we have this zone. This zone is zone of career limiting moves. No business value, low probability of success. You cannot implement it easily. So this should like just flee from this zone. So this should not be targeted by anyone of either the IT or business team. This should not even cause any problems at all between IT and business because it is obviously not implementable and you cannot also derive business value from it. So there is no point considering these cases in this bucket. So those are the three zones or traps that use cases could fall into, and then these use cases should be avoided because they're either providing little business value to the business stakeholders or too much for the IT to implement or not doing any. So it should be avoided. Okay, so let's see this. John is a project manager in a software development company. he has been assigned a task to develop a big data solution for an automobile manufacturing company. To do this, John decides to leverage the customer communications data to identify product problem areas and improve customer satisfaction levels. Which of the following approaches would you advise John to take first? So he's a project manager. He was assigned the task to develop a big data solution, right? So he's the one developing the big data solution for the automobile company. So now he wants to use the customer's communication data to identify the product's problem areas and improve customer satisfaction levels. But what should he do first? The first thing he should do is to research and take interviews. That is the first thing he should do, because you have to understand what are the business goals of the company and then understand what the business wants. What exactly do they want? We know what they want, but we need to understand it properly, which is the first step in envisioning. So this is it. Well, yes, they put envisioning exercises to convey the realm of the possible. Yes, they put that, but then this is a whole. This is where the all 5 points are encompassed in. So you cannot just put envisioning exercises. Under envisioning, we have 5 steps. So, and some of the steps are these, we have these, and we have this, and this is definitely the first step you take while envisioning. So you cannot just say envisioning exercises. No, doesn't make much sense, because you have several steps under envisioning exercises. So that is about knowledge check. These two, suppose you are a project manager of a software company. While meeting with a client, you found the client's project could be highly beneficial for your company and client itself. So you are a project manager of a software company. So they gave you a project, a company gave you a project, and then you met with the client and you found out that the client's project and the client's project is beneficial to the client and also beneficial to you. But it's difficult to implement this project using the existing technologies. That is, you cannot implement the project using the existing technologies. In this situation, if you apply the prioritization matrix, in which of the following zones will the prioritization matrix fall, or which of the following zones will it appear? Definitely, it is a zone of mismanaged expectations, because it's going to be highly beneficial, but it is difficult to implement. Okay, so good business value, low implementation feasibility, which is a zone of mismatched expectations. So that is knowledge check. Yes, so we've done everything on envisioning process, envisioning your big data solution and all of that. So now I thought we have 2 major divisions of our big data solution process. So we have the envisioning process, and then we also have the solution engineering process. This is where you actually derive solution to your data. So this is the solution engineering process. So a solution engineering process, as shown in figure below, is a process for identifying and dividing an organization's key business initiatives into its business enabling capabilities and supporting technology components to support decision making and data monetization efforts. So this is the part where you use all of the knowledge you've gained so far to be able to derive big data solutions that will now help an organization, that will help to improve an organization's business process while still relating to the key business initiatives of the organization. So you have to keep in mind the key business initiatives of the organization while you are deriving value, or I mean, while you are deriving a big data solution to the company. Yes, you are going to derive value in the long run, but then to derive a big data solution too, you keep in mind the key business initiative of the organization, and this in turn will help you bring value to the organization. So this is the part where you actually bring the solution to the table, the big data solution. So solution engineering is just basically, if I were to define it, it's like when you are achieving success with your big data. So you are using engineering skills, analytic skills to achieve success with the big data. That is the solution engineering process. And then it's a process where you identify and break down an organization's key business initiatives. So you know an organization's key business initiatives, you understand it, you break it down, right? And then you see the technological components. You see the advanced analytical tools that you can use based on the key business initiatives that you've broken down. That is the values that the company, the values associated with the company. What does the company value? What is the company's vision? What are the things that the company wants to see? Those are the key business initiatives. So you take all of this, you break all of this down, and then you check out what technological solutions will be applied based on this to support decision making within the organization and also to improve value within that organization. So this is the solution engineering process. And we have different steps in this solution engineering process. We have understanding how organization makes money. That's the first one. Second one is identifying key business initiatives. Third one is key business brainstorm big data business impact. Fourth one is flesh out use cases. Fifth one is prove out use cases. And then the sixth one is design and implement big data solution. This is not very clear, but I just mentioned 6 of them. So we'll be taking them one after the other. Okay. So the first one, understand how the organization makes money. So how does the organization make money? Why do you need to understand how the organization makes money? You need to know what are their strategic nouns. And what I mean by strategic nouns is you're trying to check the business entities such as customers, stores, employees, the things that derive value within the organization. For example, customers, when they buy products, they derive value, right? Also, you derive value from the kind of customers you bring. Yes, you derive value from your kind of employees. Are your employees hardworking or not? They can determine whether or not your organization makes money. You can have a very good organization, and then your employees are nonchalant. They don't care. They don't care about you or your feelings. And you are the only one that cares about the good wish of the company, or you are the only one that cares about the well-being of the company. No, they don't care about your company. They don't care about whether your organization makes money or not. Theirs is just to come to work and go back. Now, at that particular point, you have problems. So you have problem with getting money within your company or deriving value within your company. So you have to understand the key specific nouns within your organization, the strategic nouns within the organization. Who are these people that are very key to making money within this organization? You have to check them. Are they the employees? Is it the product, the kind of product they sell? Is it the customers? Is it the kind of stores? Is it where we have the stores located? These things are called the strategic nouns, and then you have to understand them in the organization. You have to understand these strategic nouns within the organization. So understanding these strategic nouns will help you to know the money-making capabilities of the organization. So I already give us example of these strategic nouns, the customers or the stores and all of that. So you also need to understand the role that they play in the organization's value, money-wise. So do the customers bring more value to the table than the employees bring? Are we really more passionate about the customers than we are about the employees? Or what are all of these things? Do the location of our stores matter more, of their stores matter more than the employees matter? So all of these things are the things you need to understand in the solution engineering process. And then they said, okay, so this is something that cuts across most industries. They said 0 to 25% of customers drive most of its profit in most organizations. So it's just an assumption that is to an extent accurate. So in most industries, 0 to 25% of customers drive most of the profits. 50 to 60% deliver no profits, while 10 to 25% deliver negative profits. That is, they make you go at loss. So that is a way you can understand how an organization makes money. So this is an example. Across most industries, this happens. So you can use this as a basis to measure that, okay, we see that 25% of customers drive most profit. So if 25% of customers drive most profit, then we should target customers, but then what are the other things that drive more profits within the organization? Maybe we should shift our target to those other things and so on. So this is like an example of something that you can check since this happens within most industries, so you can check it within that industry. Is it the same thing for this particular industry or not? So that is about customer value. So you can do a lot of things to check how the organizations make money and so on and so forth. Some things to note is increasing. Okay, so we have an organization can pull many levers to make more money by either increasing revenue or reducing cost, product or services. So there are different things an organization can do to make more money. So while understanding how an organization makes money, you have to also know that know what the organization can do to make more money. So if you know what the organization can do to make more money, then you'll be able to know how to apply your big data solution with respect to whichever of these options you think is most suitable for the company. So some of the ways an organization can make money is increasing revenue or reducing costs. Now, increasing revenue can include the following. It can include growing the number of premium customers. So you might have some premium customers. You can find a way to get more of premium customers and ignore the customers that don't bring value to the table. You can develop your store or site traffic. You can find a way to boost sales so that you develop your traffic. You can reduce customer attrition. You can escalate revenue per shopping occurrence. So maybe the revenue that comes in for each shopping, you can increase the revenue that comes in from each shopping. That is one thing you can do. So maybe before you were selling something at a lesser amount of money, you could increase the amount of money, you could increase sales, you could increase the price of products across your organizations. Reducing increasing private label sales as a percentage of market basket, increasing cross-sell or upsell effectiveness. So maybe cross-sell more products, maybe introduce more products to the market, or increase the value of products, increase the prices of products. That's another thing you can do. Optimizing promotional effectiveness. So promotional effectiveness, put more money into promotions. Put more money into promoting your product, into putting your product on sites that will sell your products more. So there are different ways you can actually increase revenue, and these are some of them. These are some of the ways you can increase revenue. So that's about increasing revenue. They will also have reducing costs. So reducing costs, you can reduce fraud. You can reduce fraud by creating big data to detect fraud real time. You can reduce inventory. Maybe you always have to keep so much at the same time. You can decide that you only store what is needed for a particular period of time. So that way you don't have to spend so much on inventory or supply chain. It just comes in as it's needed. So you can reduce costs. You can also improve on-time pickups and deliveries. You can improve asset utilization and turns, and so many other ways. So these are the different ways you can reduce costs, but all of this might not be necessary, okay? You only take the parts that are necessary to your big data solution. So these are just examples of things you can do to reduce costs. And you're trying to understand these things you can do so that you know the kind of big data solution that would be put in place. So that is about that. So building upon these observations, the facilitation team will be prepared to discover new sources of customer, product, and operations insights that will enhance the money-making ability of the organization. So when they check all of this, then they will now be able to see that, okay, these are the things we have to look into, and these are the things that will now enhance the money-making ability of the organization. So when you know the kind of things you can do to reduce costs or improve revenue of a company, then you would know the kind of insights you need to be able to enhance the money-making ability of the organization. So that's about that slide. Time is running out. That's why I'm rushing through. So pardon me, I will have to finish this today. Let's finish this today. So step 2. So step 1 was, oh God, please give me a minute. Sorry about that. I poured water somewhere, so sorry. So don't be scared. Nothing bad happened. Okay. So identify key business initiatives. So the first one, I said understand how an organization makes money. So the second thing you have to do is identify key business initiatives. So you have to understand an organization's key business initiatives. So what are the things that are most important to them within the organization? What are their visions within the organization? So, and then during this phase, you have to capture information such as business stakeholders and their roles, responsibilities, and expectations. So business stakeholders like maybe the CEO or the head of business in something and so on, you have to check what are their roles and responsibilities. What do they do within the organization, and what do they expect? What are the things they try to look out for? That is understanding that helps you in understanding key business initiatives, right? Then you also have to check their KPIs. What are the things they use to measure success within the organization? You also have to check time frame for delivery. So how fast do they usually um want these solutions to come into play? How quick do they usually want solutions? How quick do you have to be able to be bringing these solutions to the table so that they'll be able to make use of them to make business decisions? Then critical success factors. These are the things necessary for the organization to achieve its mission. So what are the things that the organization needs to achieve its mission? Those are the critical success factors. So desired outcomes. What are the outcomes they are looking for? What do they want to see within the organization? And then key tasks. What are the things that are most important to them? What are the things that are most important to them within the organization? What are the key points they want to see from whatever big data solution you are deriving? So those are the key tasks and so on. So that is identifying key business initiatives, identifying the vision of the organization as a whole. So that is the second one. And then the third one is brainstorm and decide. So you are brainstorming and deciding on the big data business impact. Okay. So you want to see um, the ways that the big data solution you are bringing would help to impact the company monetarily. So will it bring more money to the organization? Will it bring more value to the organization? That's one thing you're trying to understand. And then we have it's classified into 4 parts. Okay, so there are 4 ways that big data and advanced analytics can power an organization's key business initiative. So we're going to understand how these 4 ways will power the big data, the data monetization impact. Or sorry, how these four ways would help the business to be able to derive more money or derive more value within the company. So those are the data monetization impact. Sorry, I mixed that together. So how would the business be able to derive more money? So, and then we want to check what are the drivers that would be behind this business bringing more money or deriving more value, so to say. So we have 4 of them, and this just summarizes 4 of them. So I'll just use the summary that is here. Transactional data. So transactional data, and for transactional data, you are looking at more detailed transactional data such as point of sale, call detail record, and credit card details. So this one, what this helps with is it helps you with more granular and more detailed decisions. So it helps you make decisions in a more granular way. So for example, point of sale transactional data. So point of sale is at the point where the customer is buying the product. You can easily derive information at the point where the customer is buying the product. Maybe the kind of customer, or the age of the customer, or the kind of card that the customer uses. Maybe depending on the kind of card the customer uses, and so on and so forth. So those are more granular details on customer data. Normal customer or transactional data will only look at maybe name, location, value, maybe amount the customer, amount of goods the customer purchased, number of goods the customer purchased, and so on. But more detailed transactional data, it's called dark data, right? Because you are going more detailed. You are looking at maybe how the customer approaches you, the customer age band, maybe the customer is a child or if the customer is an adult, the kind of credit card the customer uses to purchase the product, and so on and so forth. So that is about transactional data. Transactional data, dark data could also be customer loyalty. So you're measuring the customer's likeliness to be able to come back to purchase a good from you. So maybe the way the customer approached the salesperson when she was paying for the product, or yes, the way she approached the salesperson, maybe she approached the salesperson happily while she was paying for the product. You could use that to determine that, okay, this customer is most likely to come back to purchase goods again from us. So that is more granular details on transactional data. And here it helps you to make more granular decisions. So you can analyze this kind of data, and it will help you to bring more granular decisions about customers. So you can easily say that, okay, customers in this age bracket tend to purchase this kind of product, and then customers that show a sign of happiness would have a 60% chance of coming back to buy products from us, and so on. So that is a way to analyze dark data. And then another thing is unstructured data. So you are checking data from the company, but you could also go in depth and check consumer comments on social media. So what is the consumer talking about on social media? What is the consumer saying? What is the consumer saying in his blog? Or what are the kind of emails is sending to the company, and so to say, and other things. So that is unstructured data. So you are not analyzing only data within the company, you're also analyzing data outside the company, just because you want to get more granular details. So what would this help you to do? Is it help you to make more accurate decisions about a customer. So you might think a customer is completely happy with the product, but then a customer sends an email that shows a sign that is unhappy with one of the products. That will help you to make a more detailed decision about a particular product. Another thing could be data velocity, or real-time data access. So how fast can you bring data solution to the table? So you got data, for example, COVID-19. You're analyzing COVID-19 data, and then you are bringing the solution for COVID-19 data 3 months after COVID-19 has ended. That will not help the situation. So another thing you can help to do is see how fast solutions to data useful for a particular period of time can be brought to the table. How more frequent can it be brought to the table? So what would it do? It will enable more frequent and more timely decisions. So it's to help them make faster decisions for that particular season. So that is one thing is to do. Then lastly, predictive analytics. You can easily predict or forecast based on the data you have. And what would this help you to do? It helps you to make more actionable decisions. So you can easily predict something that is going to happen even before it happens. And then this will help you to optimize your resources. So you can easily say that, okay, since a lot of customers have not been purchasing this particular product, then let us focus more on this product. And then that way you can optimize your product and hence derive more value. So that is another thing. So these are the different things you can brainstorm on that could help you to increase value within the organization. And these are the ways that your value within the organization can be improved. So that is brainstorming and deciding. And then step 4, break down business initiatives into use cases. So you are breaking down business initiative into use cases. And here, these are the information you capture. You capture questions that business stakeholders are trying to answer, KPIs, and so on. I've talked about something related to this, so I might not need to go back into all of this. So you are breaking them down into use cases, and then you are capturing different information from business people. So that is for step 4. Then step 5, prove the use case. So in prove the use case, you are trying to prove out a business case using a financial model. So you create a financial model that shows them that, okay, this is what we are going to create for you, and this is what we are going to achieve in the long run. So majorly what you do in this phase is you are developing a mock-up. So you can develop a mock-up of maybe a visualization or a model that you're going to follow, and then you're going to show them and tell them why this is going to work or why you should do this. So that is proving the use case. So that is about step 5. And then lastly, you design and implement. So design and implement is where you build your data models, analytical models, and so on and so forth. And then you integrate the insights that you now get from these analytical models into key operational management systems within the organization. So this is the part where you actually develop these these data models and perform these analysis. So this is the part where you do all of this. I cannot go into details because of time. Sorry. I cannot go into details because of time. So I'm trying to rush up everything. So so the implementation roadmap, what should you do? You get your data. How can you access your data real time? How can you manage your data? Data modeling, how are you going to model your data? Business intelligence, which is visualization and all. Then advanced analytic capabilities. You do predictive modeling, data mining, statistical analysis, and so on. So this is the implementation part, is where you actually implement all of these things that you've been working on so far. So that is that about that. So we have some examples of solution engineering. So some of the ways you can, some of the examples of ways that organizations actually use big data. So we have customer behavioral analytics and we have fraud reduction. So customer behavioral analytics, you are combining detailed customer transactions, and you're also combining external data like social media data, and you are combining all of this together to be able to derive insight into what your customer wants and into the behavior of your customer. So this will help you to uncover new customer insights, okay? And this will help you to increase profits, and then it also helps you to know when to drop a product, when to bring new products to the market, when to increase the price of your product, and so on and so forth. So this is one of the application of example of solution engineering, and one of the ways that companies actually use big data. And I think we talked about this in like the first class. We talked about fraud reduction and customer analytics and all. So in about the first or second class. So I will not go too much into this. But then how you can gain insight into customer behaviors. These are some of them. All customer engagement transactions, you have to put it into a single data repository. So you gather all the information from customer sales, all the information from social media, and put them into one data warehouse. Then you use advanced analytics to analyze the customer data. Then you augment the customer and prospect data with third-party data. So third-party data are data from sources like www.data.gov. These are data sites that you can easily use to see that, okay, I'm on the right track. Okay, this is what they are doing with regards to data. So you can take insights from what they are doing on these data sites and also use them in your data. You could also bring in some of these data, if possible, into the data you are working on. So another thing is you can use text analytics, like the way you did the MapReduce example. You could use Hadoop to perform MapReduce solutions on your text analytics data, and you can also leverage mobile app capabilities. So mobile apps now access location, and based on location, you could understand your customer behaviors, and you could even get real-time insights based on your customer. So a customer can be in a location, say in Lagos State, and then because the location of the customer is maybe Victoria Island or something, and you notice that based on location, the customer is always going towards a particular area. So maybe that particular area is an area where they sell some kind of product. You could easily say that, okay, maybe this customer is usually interested in this kind of product. And based on location of the customer, you could employ big data technologies that would suggest product to the customer based on the locations that the customer visits. So if the customer always visits shopping malls where they sell clothes, you would know that, okay, this customer is a good, is a customer that you should look into. And then from nowadays, you can easily advertise products to the right people on social media. You can target the right customers on social media. So you can easily just, the customer just sees probably like a notification pops up on the customer's phone that shows, because you're in Lagos, in Lagos shopping mall at the moment, we have this particular product, and then these products are on sale between August 15th and August 30th. So that is leveraging customers' location. And this will help you gain insight into customer behavioral patterns. So for fraud detection, I've explained fraud detection before, but then just to say it again, you can use social media data to identify fraudulent fraud cohorts. So like I said, this person has friends that have performed fraud at one particular point or the other. You can easily say that this person is a potential fraudster and track the person. That is one thing big data can help you to do in fraud detection. Also, you could also have real-time fraud detection models that you can use that based on, you can use such that based on historical data of this customer, you can say this customer has a high potential of performing fraud because he has performed fraud at a particular point or the other. You could also say that this customer, I know that this customer actually performs transactions once in 2 weeks. Now, I'm seeing that this customer is performing the third transaction in 2 weeks. There could be a pointer to fraud. It could be that somebody is trying to perform fraud on the person's account or something. So you could check that person's account to be sure that it is that person that is transacting. So you could also use patterns to see if there is potential fraud. And then another thing you can do is you could also, okay, I already said you could predict based on history. So based on fraud that somebody has done in the past, you could also say this person would likely want to perform fraud again, and so on. So that's that about fraud detection. So you could perform big data analytics is very useful in fraud detection. We did it in about the second class. So most likely you understand what I'm saying. So that's about the applications of fraud in customer behavioral analytics and fraud detection patterns. So I'm trying to meet up with time. So lastly, today we'll be looking at the challenges of big data solutions. So the challenges of big data solutions. What are the challenges of big data solutions? Most of the time, we don't have the best approach to process big data. So you have big data that goes into like trillions of rows. What technologies do you use? What approaches do you take to process this big data? This is one of the challenges that people face in data scientists face in bringing big data solutions to the table. Another thing is unavailability of right approach to categorize data. So you don't know the right approach to categorize your data, maybe an organization gets buried in so much data. You have a huge volume of data. You just keep getting data upon data upon data, but then you're not filtering out the useless data. You're not filtering out data that is not important at that particular point in time. That could also be a problem. So insignificant and unnecessary data should be separated and only relevant data should be used. An example of insignificant data is irrelevant comments on social media. So you don't need to analyze that. So only relevant data should be used. Then another thing is lack of infrastructure for turning big data into big insights. So you don't have good infrastructure for turning big data into insight. Maybe infrastructures like, say, Hadoop and all of this, they are not available for turning big data into insight. That could be a challenge. And then lack of big data skills. We don't have enough big data scientists that understand how to use these advanced analytical tools to perform big data solutions on big data. So that's another challenge. So some other issues that we have is rigid business intelligence or data warehouse architectures. So you cannot you are not there. Maybe a company that you are working for is not flexible with their data warehouse. It is the way it is that they want it. They don't want you to change it. That is the way they want you to use it. If you cannot use it like that, then leave it alone. That is another challenge you could face, because you may want to explore something and they are not given the opportunity to be able to explore that thing. So when they have rigid business intelligence, you are or rigid, they are telling you this is where we like our visuals. If you cannot give us line chart or bar chart, then we don't want any other thing. That is another way that big data solutions could be. That's another challenge you can have with big data solutions. Companies not wanting to become flexible with their data management architectures or their business intelligence methods. So that is one. Then traditional reporting formats. So you have some traditional reporting formats. There are some reporting formats that they've been using. They've been telling you when you are doing our reporting, we only want transactions value. That is all. We don't want any other thing. We don't want you to analyze our customer preferences. We don't want you to analyze, do any matrixing on our customers. We don't want any other thing. We just want you to do this and this and that. That is another thing that could be a challenge in implementing big data solutions. Another thing is social, mobile, and machine generated data insights are not available in a timely manner. Okay, so you have social media data, but then you cannot use them as they are coming in. You have to analyze them before using them, and then data comes in real time. So before you even finish analyzing this one, another data has come in, or customers are talking about another thing. That's another challenge we have with big data solutions. And then another thing is data aggregation and sampling destroys valuable nuances in the data. Nuances are they are like how will I put it now? Nuances are things that naturally occur. Okay, maybe in your data you have some things in your data, or some differences in your data that are not supposed to be. Maybe some weird looking data, or some outliers in your data. So you are aggregating your data, you're sampling your data, you're cleaning the data. All of these outliers, what if they are pointing to something? What if they are showing you something in the data? Then you cut all of them off, and then those insights that you needed to generate from those outliers, you cannot generate them. So that is another challenge we have with big data. Of course, we have to clean our data. So what do? That is another challenge. You are cleaning data, but then this thing that you feel is not necessary is actually necessary in helping you to derive a solution. So that is another thing, another challenge you have with big data solutioning. So knowledge check before I ask questions. While implementing a big data solution for a telecommunication service provider, which of the following steps of solution engineering process would help you to identify analytic algorithms and modeling requirements? So it is breaking down the business initiative into use cases. You are implementing a big data solution for a telecommunication service provider, right? And then they're asking you which of these steps of solution engineering process. We have steps of solution engineering process. So they are saying that which of these steps of solution engineering process would help you to identify analytic algorithms and modeling requirements. So we have understanding how an organization makes money. We have identifying key business initiatives. Those are our steps. I'm listing our steps. We have brainstorming big data, business impact. We have flesh out use cases, prove out use cases, design and implement big data solution. So the best solution is you are breaking down the business initiative into use cases. That is what will help you to identify modeling requirements. You are not going to brainstorm big data impacts at this particular point in time, because you are trying to identify the requirements that you need for your modeling. So the best thing to do is you're going to break this down into use cases, and then these use cases will now be placed on the prioritization matrix. So That is the way to identify analytic algorithms. Then let's see knowledge check 2. Most organizations have an existing business intelligence or BPM environment to evaluate key performance indicators, reporting, alerts, and dashboards. That is, they have business intelligence environments already where they have this. Most companies that you go into, they probably have some small charts or business intelligence formats that they usually use to see when maybe sales are going down or sales are coming up. So as a big data solution person, you're not coming in to most organizations and then they don't have anything. No, most of the time they actually have something that helps them to determine when they are going off profit or when they are hitting a KPI or something. They always have something like that. So they are now telling us that to enhance them with new big data capabilities, such as unstructured data, real-time data fields, and predictive analytics. So you are trying to open their eyes to better big data capabilities. They already have these small reporting dashboards and all, but they are opening their eyes to these better big data capabilities. Which of the following key factors will help organizations? So to answer them with this, which of the following key factors will help these organizations? Instrumentation strategy, no. You are not giving them any strategy. They already have an existing business intelligence, but then you want to enhance them with these new capabilities. Which of these factors will help them? User experience requirements, no. If you are not trying to check what the customers want at that particular point in time, what the in-house customers want, that is the employees, you're not trying to check what they want, no. Real-time data access analysis requirements, you're not looking for the requirements of the organization. You're not checking how you can access their data and all. No, you have to show them that you can actually do these things with their data. So the way to show them is to perform business intelligence, do these analytics, do these visualizations, and show them. That's the way to help them to be able to see that, okay, these big data capabilities are actually very useful within our organization. So that is why we have business intelligence here. Which of the following customers' activities must be used to integrate customer transactions? So how do you, which of the following customer activities must be used to integrate customer transactions? Purchase behavior, social media affiliations, sales history, customer transactions. So customer transactions, which of these activities? So activities such as purchase behavior, social media, affiliations, but you are trying to check customer transactions. It is their sales history that you check. So it's their sales history that you use to integrate customer transactions. So you want to see the way customers have been transacting over time. It's their sales history that you use to check. So I think that is that about that. I know I've been talking since morning. I've said a lot of things. If you want to understand this better, it will be very good to go back into your textbooks and read up your textbooks. You'll be able to understand it better. But then I just browsed through everything, and I'm sure that you're able to capture, even if it's just one thing, from a lot of things I've said. So I'll just quickly ask any questions. Any questions? If you have any questions, let me know. I know I said a lot of things. It's so many things at the same time. But then I wanted to finish this topic today. So I'm sure you understood like the basics of what I was saying. Maybe not all, but then let me know if you have any questions, anything that you want me to clear before I call it a day. We're already past 12, and I promised that we will not go past 12 o'clock. We actually did, even with all my rush and all. So yes, please, any questions or any contributions? If you have any contributions, or maybe you have an experience with something, I just want to share it. Okay, if you don't have any questions, then just tell me something, so we'll just be able to call it a day. Just tell me, okay, I understood, I gained this from the class, and I understood this. Just let me know.
Okay, thank you very much, Abisola. This class is actually quite expository.
Okay.
I understood, starting from the ambition process. This is that one I understood that very well. We have to
Okay.
start from conducting research, interviews. We have facilitating teams. Then the domain, someone that's very good in the domain subject, the business must be there also. The facilitation team, and you can interview the IT guys, the stakeholders, the business guys that actually have this and draw out initiatives. Then we have other aspect of it. Then we prepare data, we brainstorm, prioritize, and then document. Actually, that envisioning process, I really
Was well
understood
understood.
that. Yes, it was very
Okay.
understood. The engineering process, I understood the first three aspects. I think the last two, I snoozed a bit there. So I think I'll
Okay.
still go back and get it very well. But thank
Okay.
you very much for that. The whole
Okay.
class together.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I understand what you mean. Actually, even myself, I know I actually rushed towards the middle of the engineering process. I actually rushed it up. But then that's another thing you have your textbook for. If you go back to your textbook, you'll be able to remember some of the things I actually said in a rush. So that's why your textbook will be very useful for you to go back to check them. But then I'm glad that at least you understood most part of what I said. Any other person, so that I'll just call it a day. I just need a confirmation from someone. You gave this, or you have this contribution, then we'll call it a day. One more person, please. I'm waiting though. Should I call names? I don't want to call names. That's why I just wanted to voluntarily tell me that, okay, I understood this part. Oh, wow. When you guys do like this, you know the way it makes me feel? Like I've been blabbing. That's the way it makes me feel. So, like, nobody can say one thing apart from Daniel.
No, ma.
Okay. Now somebody's talking because I said you make me feel like I've been blabbing. So you didn't want to talk before. Oh
No,
God.
the thing is, you've not been blabbing. I mean, you've been making good points, but I think the good part of everything is I will have to go back to read up and fully grasp everything all together. But I
But
know that to the
okay.
extent I understand the different processes you carrying out the interview in the first instance to understand the business, how the business uses to make how the business methods they use to make their money, so
Okay.
you can understand the entire business structure as a whole before you go ahead to determine the particular data you need to collect or whatsoever to carry out the particular business big data project. No. So what I just figured out was that I know so far we've had some projects business analysis projects we've been given from other classes, and I believe that from this concept we've learned today, we could actually use all these to determine the activities we have in our project plan that we are supposed to
Okay.
structure for those projects. So yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah, sure.
I'll just go back
Sure.
to talking. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for that. I really appreciate you not making me feel like I've been blabbing. I know that I did a lot of verse towards the end, but then I'm sure that we're able to grab something, somewhere. All right. Thank you everyone for the class. Sorry for taking over your time again. I didn't mean to. I really wanted to finish before 12, but then some of these things happened. Oh, I think it was my 10 minutes break that cost it. I would have finished before 12. So thank you, everyone. It was nice talking to you again. I hope you learned something good today. Have a nice day. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It was the last